Chapter 8: Haiti Changing, Hope Alive Evolving. Free with great value. They gasped as the doctor oozed the contents of that tube of expired ointment into my eye. They had thought it would harm me. The incident could not have been more effective of an example to prove expired medicine is not harmful and, in fact, can be very useful. It's natural and human to adopt the mentality that something being offered for free has little value. How would I convince our staff to respect the high value of the medications we were freely and indiscriminately giving to meet medical needs in Haiti? Now I was determined. I was on a quest to change a mentality which seemed to have crept into communities served by Hope Alive. During a week full of mobile medical clinics, a large insect swiped my eye. A few days went by working in our dirty, dusty environment, and my eye became very infected, seeping green fluid. Our visiting American doctor was continuously swarmed by patients, and I was also too busy to take time to have him examine my eye. At the end of the last day, after we got back to the guest house, the main clinic, I asked him to take a look at it. He expressed that he was dismayed. He had just given away our last tube of eye and antibacterial ointment. He said the patient didn't need it nearly as bad as I did. For some reason, I felt peace. I felt like it wasn't even me speaking, but I said, well, that person did need it more than me because I had faith God would take care of my eye. Just then, our Haitian nurse went to the trash and retrieved a tube of exactly the medicine that my eye needed. It had expired a few weeks prior, and Haitian law requires all institutions in Haiti to dispose of all expired medicines and foods. Haitians are faithful to carry out this order because they believe that medicine and food becomes harmful after their expiration date. I was on a quest to disprove this belief. That expired tube of antibiotic ointment was truly a blessing to me. But here's the bigger side of this, the bigger miracle of the story. I was given an amazing opportunity. I called every staff member into the room. I explained how the last tube of medicine I needed was given to another patient. No explanation was necessary for them to recognize my eye needed prompt medical attention. It was visibly ugly and infected. Then I showed them the tube of expired medicine. They gasped as the doctor oozed the contents of that tube of expired ointment into my eye. They had thought it would harm me. Now I was putting action to my words. I remained in Haiti long enough for our staff to witness my eye was completely recovered. The incident could not have been a more effective example to prove expired medicine is not harmful and, in fact, can be very useful. Much medicine is being wasted now. Much less medicine is being wasted now that our staff understands the truth about expired products. Of course, most of our medicines are not expired, but it happens once in a while. Don't take my picture. They all feared that a picture of them might surface and spoil their immigration chances. In Haiti, you never take someone's picture without their permission. They might come after you and break your phone or your camera. It is commonly held a belief that your picture steals their soul. We are respectful about taking Haitian pictures. It is understood, however, that in order to receive free medical care at Hope Alive, we reserve the right to take their pictures. The only payment we required of the patients is this permission. For this, they receive unlimited medicine and examinations. Pictures encourage donors who have contributed to making our patients healthy through the sacrificial giving of their finances. Hope Alive had been examining and treating about 1,500 patients every month for about 15 years, paying thousands of dollars every month just for medicine, not even including the thousands of other dollars spent on salaries, buildings, vehicles, food, fuel, etc. Medicine at Hope Alive Clinic had been completely free to everyone, indiscriminately. We were told Hope Alive was the only institution in all of Haiti that did this. Over those years, Hope Alive ministered to about 275,000 patients of all ages with all diseases and ailments, not including earthquake victims, and also not including Americans or visiting doctors, American doctors or visiting doctors at the mobile medical clinics. These medicines were completely free of charge, like the examination. It was wonderful to see so many lives saved and to bless the poorest of the poor. But now something new was happening, and God revealed it was a time for a new plan. As I shadowed our nurse on one particular trip, I became uncomfortable with what I witnessed. The first thing she would do, before the patient even spoke, was to grab her prescription pad. Now, nurses write prescriptions in Haiti, unlike in the United States, where you must be a doctor, physician's assistant, or nurse practitioner. Every ache or tiny complaint got a free bottle or a tube of something expensive to take home. Some patients were leaving Hope Alive Clinic with 7 prescriptions. I had to pray and ask, was this good stewardship of our donors' generous giving? Even if these patients truly did need all these medicines they were getting for free, there was another new issue. As I mentioned, the only payment we required from patients was to let us take their picture to encourage the U.S. donors who paid for these medicines. But at this particular time, no one cooperated with me. Every Haitian buried his or her face, hiding when they saw me taking pictures. They'd never done this before in any of my previous trips. I spent some digging, but I finally learned the unbelievable, ludicrous reason why no one was letting me take their picture. Times were changing. Patients at Hope Alive's most urban medical clinic, with their new cell phones, had all gotten these high hopes to immigrate to America. A stipulation at the U.S. Embassy for getting a passport or a visa was they were not permitted to receive any type of assistance from an American organization. They all feared that a picture of them might surface and spoil their immigration chances. I thought and I prayed long and hard about this. Patients at that medical clinic would soon become responsible for paying at least a portion of the cost of their medicine. In the end, they'd never pay more than we paid. This was a very good decision. If something is given for free, it loses its value. As always, however, no one in desperate situation would be required to pay for medical care. Also, no one in our sponsored MomTat or Soulless nutrition programs would pay for any services. All those expenses, the expenses in our nutrition program for food, medicine, etc., those expenses were covered by our sponsors, who only pay $25 a month to save a child from malnutrition. When helping hurts, we never want to harm those who are working hard to make a living by giving away for free what they're trying to sell. A few years after the earthquake, I began to notice the high fashion nail manicures and the cell phones owned by a great number of patients being examined at our main urban clinic. When the time came that giving stuff away for free did more harm than good, God made it clear. Remember all those shoes that we shipped in those 30 refrigerator-sized boxes? It was a much-needed blessing for a season, but there was a consequence. The local shoe sales guy wasn't able to sell his shoes when everyone got them for free at that time. Hurting local vendors was an ongoing consequence for Hope Alive's distribution of free t-shirts, dresses, and all the good mall stuff. Another indicator it was time to make some changes was some of our visitors were frustrated, even insulted by the rude responses that they had begun getting from some of those Haitians who didn't like what the things that they were that they got. Some even asked for something different, even through these even though these things were donated to Hope Alive for us to give away, the expense to ship them was becoming more costly. That meant Hope Alive was paid something. That meant that Hope Alive paid something for these items. Haiti was changing. People in the urban areas were getting a little pickier, a little spoiled, and a little less third world. This was actually wonderful news. But it was now time to reevaluate and make more changes. Haiti is a moving target. Hope Alive is constantly changing and improving what we do, and we move with and stay on top of changes to be effective. We always want to invest our time and resources into meeting the most pressing needs. Americans love to bless the Haitian people. As this change was germinating, forming in Haiti, it was difficult convincing the kind hearted souls that it's not always good to give things to people for free. After a few years of explaining this to our American friends, it seems we're all now finally on the same page. And most everyone seems to understand how the delicate economic structure in Haiti can be easily disrupted. We never want to harm those who are working hard to make a living by giving away for free what they're trying to sell. Using discretion, however, we will always give things to people with real needs, as God leads. Micro businesses. How do we encourage loving donors who want to give donations of in kind stuff without promoting the gimme mentality? How do we bless the communities we serve without harming hardworking local vendors who are trying to sell similar items to what we're giving away? We encourage mothers in our Mom Tot and others in need to start a micro business. We help them to do that by giving our donated items to them to sell at the cost that we paid to ship those items to Haiti. It's a win win to our loving donors as well as for the new business entrepreneurs. Burnout. Despite all our good intentions, poverty and sadness refused to loosen their grip from the throat of Haiti. We were drowning in an overwhelming sea of unmet needs. Haiti was changing, evolving. It was unfortunate that gang violence had forced Hope Alive to temporarily close our guest house in 2018, but this turned out to be a good time for some much needed rest. I can trace when the fatigue started, right after the earthquake in 2010. Just after the earthquake, several hundred people responded to me personally because of horrific images of Haiti that they'd seen on CNN and every other news network. Frank and I were interviewed on TV a few times as well. Precious people were filled with compassion to help, and Hope Alive was a great medium for that. For months, our home was a revolving door, people bringing things to our doorstep for me to ship to Haiti. The accelerated responsibility of sorting, packaging, and sending stuff was exhausting. With donors' permission, we began to hold yard sales in the center of our town to sell the donated used dog blankets, ice scrapers, snow boots, etc., to raise funds to ship the tents, the generators, and the medicine and the other useful items. And there were a lot of useful items. But burnout swallowed me slowly and insidiously. Despite all our good intentions, mine, Frank's, our boards, our visitors, poverty and sadness refused to loosen their grip from the throat of Haiti. No matter how hard any of us had worked, we were drowning in an overwhelming sea of unmet needs. Immersed in good works, the inevitable had swept me away in the clutches of its silent undertow. Realization of burnout felt like being smacked in the face with a glass of cold water when I figured it out in around 2012. Besides not detecting noticeable change in Haiti, other stress factors were incessant dangers that threatened lives on my watch on missions trips, insurmountable corruption, and the new gimme more free stuff attitude. But hands down, the biggest culprit causing this introvert to be flat with exhaustion was American people who just wanted to help. Addressing Haiti's poverty was too heavy a heartache to add the burden of constantly ministering to visitors and other helpers. Yet I continued hosting the visiting missionaries, going through the motions like a Haitian zombie, alive but dead right up to the end. I was exhausted, even burned out. But despite my fatigue, most everyone who wanted to help, they were so delightful. The zeal of these loving people was infectious, and it energized me. They filled me with joy and rejuvenated me. Except one. One particular audacious woman offered to manage a Hope Alive booth for us in our absence at that large event where I once worked. While at first we were grateful, we soon became flabbergasted to learn of her unscrupulous tactics. She had commandeered our brochures, crossing out our contact information, and replaced it with hers, apparently to redirect Hope Alive's funding to herself. Also, during a mission trip at Hope Alive, she made ridiculous, unfounded claims and somehow managed to convince several of our loyal visitors and staff that I was stealing from the ministry. By besmirching my character, she talked some of them into funding her to start her own mission. Having poured my heart and my life into Haiti and Hope Alive, the betrayal was too heavy to bear. I suffered in silence. It seemed futile to try to shed light on the new shadow of ludicrous doubt that she'd cast about my integrity, or to try to explain away anyone's unfounded mistrust. I let God sort it out, and He did. He was glorified, and I was vindicated. I grew some thicker skin, and I kept moving. But one has to wonder, why would anyone think God would bless deception in ministry? There was a saying in Haiti that one team would come and paint the gate red. The following week, another team would come and paint the gate green. The reason was some mission organizations capitalized on what they termed voluntourism and found it challenging to keep their guests busy. That's how the red and gate green, the red gate, the green gate saying began. Giving insignificant jobs just to keep busy would have been a much simpler approach, but this would never happen at Hope Alive. No one paid in our gate unless it was necessary. Between the earthquake in 2010 and Haiti closing to visitors in 2018, Hope Alive housed over 800 guests, and much more than that, considering that many of these guests were return visitors. We encouraged each one of them to come with their own agenda. This task was monstrous and energy depleting, but so rewarding to each of them. The biggest downside of allowing our guests freedom to design their own trips was, despite pleas for specific practical donations, visitors' suitcases were often overflowing with dollar store gifts and candy for the Haitian children. At first, this was cute, but week after week, it stopped being cute when most teams had the same idea. It was sad that so much real opportunity to bless others was missed. Instead of the Haitian people receiving useful and greatly needed items, 5 minutes of pleasure for the visitor was all that those things brought. This hiccup did not change how grateful we were for our visitors. We were blessed with wonderful teams who possessed amazing gifts and talents, and we were determined and successful to empower each of them to fulfill the mission to which God called them. I had the difficult job of making all the visitors' plans work for them and for those they wanted to minister to. They lovingly shared themselves however they chose with Haitian people in need. And in the end, Hope Alive always managed to get our mission task to bless the Haitian people completed as well. By delegating meaningful tasks and creating the trip of a lifetime, both the Haitians and the Americans benefited, resulting in many lifelong bonded relationships. Everyone was happy, and my energy was well spent. Today, now that I'm caught up on my rest and I've gotten that downtime I needed, I so dearly miss having guests at Hope Alive. 2018's dangerous travel brought an end to visiting missionaries, and 2020 brought a halt to travel worldwide because of the COVID pandemic. One tremendous blessing was that Haiti was virtually unaffected by COVID. Due to gang violence, no one traveled there to spread COVID. Here is some simple and basic advice that I suggest to avoid burnout in life. 1. Always stay totally honest and transparent with God, with yourself, and with everyone else, even if they don't like what you say. For example, I should have been more firm about the short-sightedness of junk distribution to the Haitian people by our well-meaning guests. 2. Don't neglect yourself by drowning in your good works, no matter how valid those good works are. For example, I should have rested and taken a breath once in a while. 3. Listen to your intuition that comes from inside of you. Does it feel wrong? Just because everyone says something is right doesn't make it right. For example, I should have stopped the orphanage visitation much sooner.